What's happening, everyone?
What's happening, guys?
Time for our very special Christmas review. Every year we do something extra special
It's that
for
time.
Christmas, and we are going to be reviewing the very famous Bowmore Black.
None other than, baby.
We each got a sample from the Old Alliance. Okay, so this is the Bowmore Black. This is actually the 3rd edition, and this one is 31 years old, bottled at 49% ABV. And you get samples from the Old Alliance. Send you a picture of the bottle. There's a picture. The one in the middle would be the Bowmore Black.
A couple other fun ones.
Yeah. This is obviously a bottle that's very difficult to own a full bottle of because, you know, a full bottle of this goes for close to $20,000 at auction. So when you're talking about an extremely collectible whiskey, one of the most, usually when you're reading about the most collectible whiskeys, the biggest names, Bowmore Black is right there.
Unicorn.
Yeah, and there's a few different versions that came out from similar casks. Total, I think there's been 5 different bottlings of the Bowmore Black.
What's funny because remember originally they call it the final edition.
Yeah, for this one.
Right.
But then
until the 42-year-old came out in 2007.
Yeah, and then another one came out recently.
The last cast, 50-year-old came out, a couple years ago. Yeah. So
this was the last one that came out in this original style kind of bottle.
Right. Yeah, the old pirate bottle with like the wooden vault box. Yeah.
So when you're only trying so much of a super special whiskey, you really want to make sure you get as much of the experience as possible.
Yeah.
So this has now been breathing for 2.5 hours?
Yes. Just to make sure.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. It really benefits from air when you're about to try something this complex.
Yes.
So without further ado, as you guys can see, it's Bowmore Black because the color is just black.
The real deal, baby.
Yeah. So, 49%, 31 years old. Here we go.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Mike, we were talking. We've been nosing this before the review. Kind of getting to know the whiskey right before, and it's just screaming that these are 1964 casks, and we've reviewed a 1964 Bowmore before on this channel, the sherried version. And it reminds me of that. You're getting those dark flavors like coffee, tobacco leaves, soy sauce, but it's very sweet, right? It's very, very sweet. It's almost like soy sauce meets cola, right?
Yeah.
But it's salty. It's very sweet. It's beautifully earthy. And then you're getting all those tropical fruits like the mangoes and guavas and papayas as well, kind of turning this into just a masterpiece of a whiskey, which you're expecting from a 64 Bowmore.
It better be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the sauce note, soy sauce, exotic, cola-based Asian spice sauces, and then that now has led to just an exotic meat party. Like meats I've never had before, like gamey, not like filet or beef, but gamey meats, like elk tenderloin, and like what I would imagine that like some exotic like reindeer fillet would taste like, in this crazy dark like beef bordelaise sauce, like beef broth, beef bouillon, I think you said earlier. So kind of like that beef-based element, the salt and everything, but like this rich sweetness with cola in these bordelaise and kind of meat steak sauces. I mean, just freaking crazy.
Yeah, this is rich, like rancio style, almost like reminds you of a 100-year-old 1800 style cognac, right? I'm fortunate enough to try a few of those, and it's kind of going towards that rancio, a little bit of leather, and that sweet oak kind of coming through. It's almost reminding you of a very, very fine old cognac, a very, the fine wine, like kind of like a wine sauce, almost like you were saying, with the meaty elements, all kind of shining though with those tropical fruits, just making it so beautiful. And that's what a 60s sherry style Bowmore will do for you.
Yeah, and on the rancio and insane, like just shoving your head in a fresh Cuban cigar box,
Yeah.
a fresh Cuban humidor. And yeah, the fruits, man, mangoes, passion fruit, even some pink grapefruit, kiwi, even a little bit of lime with all that salt coming through, that candied Bowmore peat coming through.
Yeah, this is screaming. It reminds, we've now tried a few different versions. We've tried one of the individual casks, a 64 cask that went into this, that was known to be the magic cask.
The best single cask that went into Black Bowmore.
Yeah, rumored to be, at least. We haven't tried them all. We've tried that, some other 64 vintages, one that we've even reviewed, and now trying this. They're all kind of playing in that framework. This one almost being the most rancio of them all, right?
Yeah.
Very, very rich and dark. Amazing.
You can kind of see, because remember, that 64, we never reviewed it. It was a miniature sample.
Yeah.
Should have reviewed it.
Yeah.
But that 64, that is again rumored, or like if you look at like the Whiskey Exchange, or when it comes to auction, they'll always say that the insiders would regard it as the best single cask. But you can kind of see what they were going for when they mixed all these magical casks into this crazy blend that became the Black Bowmores.
It's very musky and sandalwood.
Oh yeah.
It's got that vanilla kind of musk to it with the sandalwood element, the cigar leaf element. Just beautifully well done. You could pick out notes from this all day, but let's hit the palate.
Let's do it. It's like that Tom Ford tobacco vanille.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's like like you said at one time, take a couple of drops,
Yeah.
put on yourself, and go out.
Just what you can almost do it.
Oh,
with,
100%.
for sure.
Go
I
clubbing
say
after?
it, yeah, but you could do it.
You
yeah.
can do it.
Cheers. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Cheers. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays. Happy
Yeah.
holidays.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Surprisingly fresh. I was expecting it to be overly cloying and overly drying. The drying is as expected. Back sides of the tongue here, top of my mouth as well in the mid, but the lower part here, just my saliva is just releasing.
Holy shit, man. Holy shit.
Tons of that sandalwood.
Wow.
Just some worn like quality, like you go to a leather Italian furniture store, you can kind of get that taste. And not that I've ever chewed leather, but the smell of it.
What you would imagine it would taste like, yeah.
Yeah, tons of that rich soy sauce and cola. And as I was saying it on initial sip, it released very luscious. The drying is pulling forward, but it is enjoyable. But it's definitely drying. The fruits are at the very, very front of the tongue. You're definitely getting tons of that complexity, the meaty elements really coming through.
Shine,
I mean, I'm talking bacon, ham, elk, name the steak. It's there. All in this very, very rich wine sauce. That old cognac thing is definitely coming out too. On the palate, on the finish, I should say, not on the palate. You could almost fool me once those tropical fruits kind of go away. It kind of leaves you with that rancio, old style cognac kind of finish. Yeah. Really amazing, and just a lot to talk about, a lot to handle on the palate.
It's complex as fuck.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everything we said on the nose is there. But for me, the star is the meats and that sauce. You get the fruits there, but this addictive, like cola-based steak sauce. Like cola-based barbecue sauce, cola-based soy sauce with all these spices, the salt, the candied peat, and just every kind of and not like any steak, like almost like a thick, gamey steak that you have to kind of chew on and chew into it and really bite into. That's like the texture it has. It's this chewy, rugged texture that just lingers on your palate forever. It's the texture, mouthfeel is almost unlike any whiskey I've ever had. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's going back to the nose, even on a much smaller amount. The fruits with with less liquid in there. The glass is oozing.
Yeah.
With those mangoes and papayas and everything, and it's just gorgeously done. On first sip though, if I had any complaints, is I am not getting those fruits. I was getting maybe 25% of those fruits on the palate that I was on the nose.
Exactly.
So if I could get that up to close to 100%, is what would take this to the next stratosphere. Yes.
Yeah, and obviously the hard part will be we'll probably never be able to maybe compare all three. You know, the first, second, third edition in this pirate bottle style, but that would be interesting because right now, in terms of the palate, compared to the Bowmore 64 Sofiantino,
yes,
not as many fruits.
Not as many fruits on the palate.
Right. So yeah, that would be a complaint where palate, I probably prefer the Bowmore 64 Sofiantino. But again, that it's different. That cola, the beef, those steaks, that rich sauce, all those different sauces just takes over. That's the star.
Just absolutely amazing. I'm gonna go in for one more sip. I think we did it justice on the nose. Nothing new to add. It's just there's a wow factor in there that you can't explain. You can name off tasting notes, but there's just a certain wow factor that's hard to explain, and only very few whiskeys have this kind of a wow factor. And there's a reason why Bowmore Black has the name it has.
Yeah. And again, to that point, right? We're lucky enough to be able to compare a few of these 64 Bowmores, so we're trying to be super critical and pick out little, maybe negative nuances or just which one we prefer. But all of them are in that world of just
magic,
otherworldly magic. So it's amazing. It's insane. We're just trying to be super critical and pick out any little thing we can.
And in terms of peat, it's just more of like salty ocean spray. Hint of that, nothing else.
Right. Yeah, whereas like we recently did the Bowmore Bicentenary, that was almost going to like exotic motor oils, like mechanic shop kind of different.
Yes,
this is more on the coastal ocean spray island.
Younger whiskey overall, the other one. This one being fully 31 years old.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is more like you're walking on Isla, coastal, ocean spray in your face, all the beautiful fog, and then all those other cola, everything like that.
Yeah. Last sip.
Because this was, probably a lot of them are, but this was for sure, they say it on the bottle and box, this was for sure aged in the #1 vaults, which is below sea level. And some crazy shit happens there with the humidity and how danky it is, that you get those mangoes and unique peat and everything.
You're really getting that underground Dunwich funk. The ocean is nearby. You taste it.
Yeah, the Isla Bowmore funk.
You taste it, and on second sip, I'm getting a little bit of the we woke up at 5 a.m. and we're on a boat fishing. The fish nets. We caught some fish. Came out into the boat. You smell a little bit of the ocean water. The fish are right there, and you kind of get in that fish skin. Leather, oak, a lot of sandalwood. I think it is so weird to say anything negative about a whiskey, but I think these casks overall aged a few years less, just 2, 3, 4 years less, would probably be even more magical, because on the dry scale from 1 to 10, it kind of gets to that 7, where I kind of don't want it past 6, right?
Especially second sip back
7,
here.
7.5. Yeah.
Starting to cover up.
Yeah.
And to overshadow even the cola and sauces, but mainly the fruits. Those Bowmore fruits we're addicted to.
Yeah.
I could tell it's starting to cover up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously leather, full blown lit Cuban cigar, but it takes away from the fruit. So in that sense, yeah, a couple years younger, a few years younger.
Yeah.
Be more balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, this was a 95 on the nose. It's probably like a 93.5 to 94 on the palate. So I'm going to give it a 94 as a total score. If you go ahead and watch our other Sofiantino 1964 Bowmore review, I believe we gave it a 96.
Right.
They're all masterpieces.
They're all
masterpieces.
They're all unicorns.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think this is an incredible whiskey, but 94 is my score.
And as we say all the time, right, it's all relative. If we had never tried that Bowmore 1964 Sofiantino, we would never know the difference.
Yeah,
this would be like a 96.
Maybe.
But we only know because of that.
Maybe.
Because of the magical balance that had everything this has in it, but balanced perfectly.
Yeah.
And that little tiny bit of maybe overdrawing that was overshadowing the fresh, luscious fruits, that didn't have. So relative to that Sofiantino, 94 as well.
Yeah. Absolutely stunning whiskey. Bowmore Black. What else can we say?
What you gonna do?
Yeah. It is a bottle that I know people that are buying it now are not opening. And I'm not saying we opened the bottle, but we got a sample from an open bottle from the Old Alliance in Singapore. You can actually go to the bar, well, not during COVID, I don't think, but or you can actually purchase samples from the bar.
Just like this.
It's not cheap, but it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's our Christmas present. So happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating.
Yes.
Whether you're celebrating or not, have a safe holiday. And I know 2020 was kind of a crazy year, Mike, but hopefully 2021 we'll be able to be more social and outgoing, and hopefully this virus thing kind of gets put to an end.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you guys soon for many more model reviews.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.